So we like to cover a little bit of the quirky tech news on this show, but in order to delve deeper into the weirder web, we needed to call in an expert. Welcome to Kerry Davis, host of the show, in case you missed it, on Engadget. Welcome, Kerry.
Thank you so much. That's a perfect introduction.
So before we get into it, tell us what you cover on In Case You Missed It.
So we really set out to be sort of the quirky thing, just like you said, not the main headlines that everyone is already writing about anyways, definitely not the CEO interviews, just the quirk. So I'm really into medical tech, sort of the off the beaten path med devices, a lot of the research happening in different universities, of course, MIT, anything that DARPA puts out, just the end makers, I should also say, we're on Kickstarter a lot.
So you like the scary robots that are shaped like dogs or other animals?
I love those.
Okay, well, let's get started. The robot running buddy, you reported on this. Tell us about that.
That was really interesting. So Puma put that together with an ad agency. It took 8 prototypes to get this little tiny robot that looks like a shoebox to follow alongside a runner. It has, I think, 9 infrared sensors on it. It has Arduinos in each wheel. It has a GoPro front and back. So basically, you put it down, you program your time and your distance, and it will run alongside you as a true, honest-to-God coach for, it's not just a timer. You're not just trying to beat a time. You're running against this thing, and it can follow a line and beat you, basically.
It's a pacekeeper, basically. Like, it's one thing to run and try and beat a time. I have to. I'm not a professional,
I
runner.
refuse to
by
run.
the way, yes, I know it's kind of painful. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But I have to imagine if you're out there on a track training by yourself, that's one thing. But having something that's there is like a visual reminder of this is the pace that you have to be at in order to kind of beat your time or to be ready for whatever's coming up. I have to imagine that's really helpful. It's neat.
Agreed. And that's why they made it because, you can see Usain Bolt there. You can actually run his time, his
nice
award-winning time from 2009. So it's so expensive.
I can?
Yeah. I wouldn't even try. I just watch it. That's cute. So it's so expensive, of course, that only Puma athletes get to use it right now. So.
Well, it's made with Arduinos and GoPros. So I was looking at that and I noticed in your comments some people were like, well, here's how you can make it.
So theoretically, anybody could use it.
Yeah,
this is a project for know-how.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I know we have a great show that they could, I'm going to ask them to make this because I need a running buddy.
Yeah, don't we all?
Okay, so another story is eHang. We all saw this at CES. It was the autonomous passenger drone, which looked awesome and terrifying. Apparently, they've made a deal with Lung Biotechnology, PBC. That's a company that makes artificial organs. They're going to work with the company to deliver artificial organs to people who need them. But this, does this sound like a PR stunt sort of? Because, artificial organs don't even exist yet.
Right. That's what the internets are saying because it is a 15-year deal. They were very clear in their press release that it's 15 years and that the deal is for up to 1,000 eHangs, which would have to be modified to sort of take care of getting these organs. But we're reporting on it because, of course, it's interesting. You got 3D printed organs. You have eHang, which is cool all by its own. Did you guys see it at CES?
Yeah, I wouldn't get in it. Would you?
They didn't let me. Did you get to get in it?
No. I just said I wouldn't have. Ever.
Well, let's let them do some testing first. Then I think I would, actually. Yeah. And it's crazy. So in the little cockpit, they have this tablet and you just push the button and it's supposed to be autonomous enough to sort of, you put in your location in like a Google Maps type device and it takes you there. It knows how much distance it needs to land. Yeah. And actually this company, the company that eHang did the deal with, right now they're known for making pharmaceutical drugs for people who have lung transplants. So it is very aspirational. So I think it's almost like eHang we know is cool, we all agree, but we all know there need to be so many steps for it to actually sort of happen. This other component is like, oh God, it's very Jetsons.
Yeah.
Why? I'm trying to understand why opting for a this smaller version as opposed to kind of what they're doing now? Would this significantly cut down on the time? Is that why they're proposing this solution?
That is a great question. It was a press release, a very stock press release, and it didn't,
Or it's just like you said, like you're saying, actually, is what it sounds like. Then it's a total PR thing. But I have to imagine that would be at least one benefit. At least I would hope, because when it comes to saving people's lives, I imagine time is of the essence as far as that's concerned. So.
I actually have a good friend in Petaluma who owns a company that delivers organs by helicopter. I sent him this story today. I was like, they're trying to steal your job, and he's like, no, that's not gonna. You still need people who hold the coolers.
You need a cooler holder.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a job.
Until a robot can figure out how to hold a cooler.
I know, seriously, they can do so much.
They're probably building it already. It's already made. You just don't know about it.
The cooler holder 2000. Yes.
Okay, so robots, organs leads right into our next story about robot surgery. This story is going to come up on an upcoming episode of your show. What can you tell us what they learned today about robot surgery?
I love this thing. So this story was just published, and before you and I emailed about it, I had already seen it and said, oh man, this is perfect for in case you missed it, because they already had robots that assisted with surgery, but this thing, it was sort of the reverse. A surgeon assisted the robot who was able to sew up, it was, parts of a pig, the intestines, I think. Mm-hmm. And apparently, so they did one round with the robot performing the surgery and the surgeons just sort of being there and watching. And then they flipped it, and then they compared, the surgeon, the human touch versus the robots. And the robots was better, of course. It's better. It was more consistent. Just think about sort of hand-sewn clothing versus what we all have now, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting. And it's called the STAR. Let me get the right name for you.
So,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're comparing hand-sewn clothing to, clothes that are kind of manufactured by robots. I'm just thinking of a future of bespoke surgery where I choose to have a human do my surgery. I like the human touch in my surgery. Thank you very much.
That's lovely. What a nice thought. If only people would take it that way. I don't imagine people will take it quite so kindly.
Yeah.
A robot doing their surgery, I can hear my mom in my mind already. She's not pleased.
Yeah. Well, it's the autonomous robot. That's the part about it that's, it's like nobody, and they're doing it better. Yeah.
I mean, it really does seem like the future of this sort of thing, just based on accuracy and I mean, robots just, depending on how they're built, they have the ability to go, microns of space versus a human that will always kind of have just that tiny little bit of, that human shakiness, I guess. So this is probably the future.
I am rewatching all of ER, and there's an episode where Dr. Carter has to learn how to suture. It takes him a long time.
Yeah,
he's no
and
robot.
If it takes Dr. Carter a long time, I can't imagine how long it's going to take to teach a robot.
Yeah. My brother-in-law is in medical school, and I need to send him this story because he'd probably love it. I mean, I think they're all kind of afraid, right, of that learning.
Yes.
He would love it.
I was going to say he'd love it, and then he'd drop out promptly. He'd be like, well, my future, I need to figure something else out.
Right, yeah. I mean, there are other things to do besides sewing people up, I guess.
Right. I just wanted to tell you the other interesting thing apparently about it is that it has 3D imaging and force sensing, and that is also what's interesting about this robot because people can sew anything right, and so could a robot, except that when it's soft tissue, it specializes in soft tissue. So it's things that are going to stretch and move, and so the robot is able to force it together the right way and sew it. So it is actually really interesting.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, Kerry, thank you so much for coming on the show. How can people get In Case You Missed It?
Well, we publish every day, Tuesday through Saturday, and either on the site, Engadget.com, it's usually featured in the top. If it's not, it's Engadget.com/ICYMI. There it is. And or you can follow me on Twitter, and I usually tweet it out every day also.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kerry. It was great talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.